They say death begins in the heart, but I've learned, after 3 decades as a doctor, that for many men, it starts somewhere else in silence. In the bedroom, in the mirror. It starts the morning you wake up and notice something's missing. Not just the erection, but the energy, the confidence, that sense of being fully you. Maybe your feet feel colder than usual. Maybe you notice your walks feel heavier, slower. You wonder if it's just aging. But deep down, it doesn't feel right. I've had patients look me in the eye and say, "Doc, I just don't feel like a man anymore." Not with shame, with sadness. These moments never get easier for me. Because I know that what's fading isn't just physical, it's identity. And the worst part, most of it begins with what they eat, or more accurately, what they don't. Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, MD. For over 30 years, I've helped thousands of men over 60 reclaim their energy, restore their circulation, and feel fully alive again without pills, surgeries, or miracle supplements. I've served as director at Cleveland Clinic's Center for Functional Medicine and authored more than a dozen bestsellers on health and longevity. But none of that matters unless I can reach you right now. Because what I'm about to share could change everything for you. You see, every morning your body is screaming for help. After hours of fasting, your blood vessels are thirsty, your muscles are hungry, and your hormones are begging for the right signal to wake up. Ignore that skip breakfast, or down a cup of coffee with toast, and you're sending the wrong message. Shut down, conserve, survive. But what if you sent a different message? What if, tomorrow morning, you gave your body exactly what it needed: the right fuel, the right minerals, the right sequence to say, "We're back, we're rebuilding, we're alive"? Because there's one humble food that I recommend to every tired, disconnected, and discouraged man who walks into my office. And I've seen it work wonders. Let me take you inside one of those stories. His name was Sam. 68 years old, retired police sergeant, still broad-shouldered, but carrying the weight of exhaustion in his voice. He sat across from me one cold Tuesday morning and said something I'll never forget. "Doc, I used to wake up ready to take on the world. Now I wake up hoping I don't feel anything at all." That hit me hard because I knew exactly what he meant. That creeping numbness, not just physical, but emotional. It's something I see every week. And I also knew where to start. "Sam," I said, "what's the first thing you eat in the morning?" He shrugged. "Coffee? Sometimes a slice of toast if I remember." I nodded. "That's not breakfast. That's starvation. And your body's paying the price." See, what most men don't realize is that their testosterone levels, circulation, and pelvic muscle strength are directly influenced by what they put on their plate before 9 a.m. And nothing starts the rebuilding process like 2 whole eggs. Not just egg whites, the whole egg yolk and all. Inside that golden center is a perfect cocktail of nutrients aging men desperately need. Vitamin D to support testosterone, B12 for blood production, choline to strengthen nerves, and leucine, a muscle-repairing amino acid that specifically targets the deep pelvic muscles responsible for erections and bladder control. That morning, I asked Sam to do one simple thing. Every day for the next 30 days. Eat 2 whole eggs within an hour of waking. No skipping, no excuses. A month later, He called me, and I could hear the life in his voice again. Doc, I don't know what happened, but I woke up this morning, and I felt like I was back in my body again. It wasn't magic. It was biology. Those eggs delivered exactly what his aging body had been begging for. You see, breakfast isn't just about calories, it's communication. Every bite tells your system what to do next. With the right message, even decades of decline can begin to reverse. Now, once we've laid that foundation with eggs, it's time to clear the path. Because no matter how powerful your hormones, they're useless if blood can't flow freely. Let me show you what comes next. One of the most overlooked enemies of men over 60 isn't lack of testosterone, it's blocked blood flow. You can have all the hormones in the world, but if the highways inside your body are clogged, nothing gets through. No oxygen, no nutrients, no sensation, no erections. That's where I introduce Sam to our next step, the artery cleaners. Oatmeal and chia seeds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oatmeal isn't that just mushy hospital food, but let me tell you a story. A man named Doug, 71 years old, used to be a cross-country trucker, tough as nails, but he came into my clinic dragging his feet literally, legs stiff, cold, no energy, and no spark below the belt for years. We sat down, and I told him, Doug, if you want to feel like yourself again, we need to flush out your pipes starting with your breakfast. We swapped his sugary cereal and white toast for something simple, half a cup of steel-cut oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, cinnamon, and a handful of blueberries. Add a spoonful of raw honey if you want, I said. Make it taste good, your body will thank you. Here's the magic behind it. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, a special fiber that binds to cholesterol in the gut and helps escort it out of the body. Meanwhile, chia seeds are loaded with omega-3s, potassium, and magnesium. They help relax the walls of your blood vessels, lower inflammation, and improve blood pressure, all crucial for regaining performance and confidence. After just 3 weeks, Doug sent me an email. Doc, I walked a mile this morning without stopping, and I felt something downstairs I haven't felt in years. You might be onto something. I smiled, because I see it again and again. Oatmeal and chia are gentle, no crazy spikes or crashes. Just slow, steady progress. Every bowl is like a tiny plumber in your arteries, scraping out decades of plaque, opening the road so your blood can go where it's supposed to. So tomorrow morning, after your eggs, take 5 minutes. Make a bowl of oatmeal. Stir in chia. It's not just a breakfast, it's your daily tune-up. And trust me, your body will notice. Now that we've built strength and cleared the road, let's talk about the one fruit that acts like nature's Viagra, and how one man rediscovered fire in his marriage because of it. If you told me 20 years ago that watermelon would become one of my top prescriptions for older men, I might have laughed. But today, I stand by it, because what I've seen in my practice has been nothing short of transformational. Let me take you back to a patient of mine named Jerry. He was 68, a retired police officer, and he carried himself like he'd been through it all. But when he sat in my office, I saw something different: exhaustion, doubt, and that quiet frustration men don't often say out loud. Doc, he said, I feel like my body's gone quiet, like I'm here, but not really here anymore. I nodded. I'd heard those words before. We had already started with eggs and oats, but Jerry needed more, something to jumpstart sensation and blood flow naturally, without relying on pills that gave him headaches or didn't work at all. So I asked him, You like watermelon? He chuckled. Who doesn't? I smiled and explained that watermelon contains an amino acid called L-citrulline. When you eat it, especially the white rind most people throw away, your body converts that into L-arginine, which boosts nitric oxide production. That's the same pathway Viagra uses, only this is food, not medicine. Nitric oxide opens your blood vessels, relaxes smooth muscle, and allows more blood to flow into the pelvis. And that, my friend, changes everything. Jerry agreed to try it. Every morning for 2 weeks, he ate 3 slices of watermelon rind and all blended into a smoothie with a splash of lime juice. 10 days in, he called me. His voice was lighter. Doc, he said, I woke up with, well, let's just say, I wasn't the only one who noticed. My wife hasn't smiled like that in a long time. That's what watermelon can do. It's hydrating. It delivers natural sugar without the crash. It nourishes the muscles and nerves that fuel your intimacy, and it signals to your body that you haven't given up, that you still expect to feel alive. And it's not just about sex. It's about identity. When a man sees signs of life return in the morning, that firmness, that pulse, it reminds him, I'm still here. I'm not done. So tomorrow, after your eggs and oats, grab a few slices of cold watermelon. Eat it slowly. Blend the rind. Let your body absorb what it's been missing. Because the fire doesn't go out, it just needs oxygen. And watermelon is the match. Now, let's talk about one humble root vegetable that can stabilize your system better than most prescriptions, and how it helped a Vietnam veteran stand tall again. One of the biggest misconceptions about health after 60 is that things have to get more complicated. More pills, more treatments, more confusion. But in my experience, the most powerful healing often comes from the simplest things, like a root vegetable your grandmother probably served without even knowing the science behind it, the sweet potato. Let me tell you about Alan, a 70-year-old Vietnam vet who came into my office hunched over and dragging his legs like sandbags. He told me, Doc, I wake up and feel like gravity's doubled on my lower body. My legs are heavy, my groin is numb, and I'm exhausted before I even get to the coffee pot. We ran the tests. Heart fine. Blood sugar managed. Testosterone. A little low, but not disastrous. What was missing? Minerals, hydration, grounding fuel. So I gave him what he thought was the simplest, strangest advice of his life. Steam half a sweet potato. Add a pinch of Celtic salt. Eat it with a glass of warm water. First thing in the morning before your coffee. Before anything else. Alan looked at me like I was joking. That's it. That's it. Sweet potatoes are packed with complex carbs that release energy slowly, stabilizing blood sugar and replenishing glycogen, the fuel your muscles need to move and support you. They're also rich in potassium and magnesium, 2 key minerals your aging body starts losing faster than you realize. But the real magic is in the Celtic salt. Unlike refined table salt, this stuff is loaded with over 80 trace minerals. It helps rehydrate your cells, regulate nerve impulses, and improve blood pressure. It tells your body, we're back in balance. 3 mornings in, Alan called me, Doc. I stood up without holding on to the nightstand. My legs didn't feel like concrete. I'm not saying I ran a marathon, but something's changing. This simple duo, sweet potato and Celtic salt, helps rewire your morning system. It stabilizes your nerves, improves your circulation, and reduces that sluggish, disconnected feeling so many men just chalk up to aging. So, Tomorrow morning, after your eggs, oats, and watermelon, steam a sweet potato. Sprinkle on that Celtic salt. Eat it warm, and feel how your body responds to minerals it's been craving for decades. We're not done yet. There's one final piece, and it's not about food. It's about the one decision that separates men who change their lives from those who just think about it. Let's talk about action. Every now and then, a patient will ask me, Dr. Hyman, what's the real secret? The food, the supplements, the perfect routine. And I always pause before answering, because the truth is, none of it works. None of it matters without action. Let me tell you about Greg. He was 74, a retired firefighter from Toledo. Big guy, hands like baseball mitts. But when he sat across from me, all I saw was exhaustion. His eyes were tired. His voice was low. He said, Doc, I've lost my spark. I'm not the man I used to be. I laid out the exact same plan I've shared with you eggs for strength. Oats and chia to clean the arteries. Watermelon for blood flow. Sweet potato and Celtic salt to ground the system. It was all there. He nodded along. Sounds good. Doc, I'll get to it. But I stopped him right there. No, I said, you don't get to it. You start now, because I've seen what happens when men wait. They say they'll begin on Monday, or after their next doctor's appointment, or once they feel more motivated. But days become weeks become months, and in that time, the body slips further away. So I looked Greg in the eye and said, start tomorrow. Not with all of it, just one thing. 2 whole eggs before anything else. No coffee first. No skipping. Just eggs. He laughed a little, but he did it, and he kept doing it. Then he added the oats, then the watermelon, then the sweet potato, and with every step, his voice came back. His energy rose. The man who walked back into my office 6 weeks later had color in his face, a steadier stride, and most importantly, hope. Here's what I want you to take from this. It's not about perfection. It's about momentum. One small decision, one good breakfast, one consistent habit. That's what tells your body. We're not done yet. It's what reignites your circulation, your confidence, your connection to the man you still are. Don't wait for your body to feel ready. It's waiting for you. So tomorrow morning, pick one habit, just one. Show up for it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. And remember, the real cure isn't found in a pill. It's in the daily choice to believe in your own strength again. If there's one message I hope you take from everything we've shared, it's this. Your next act begins at breakfast. You see, after more than 30 years treating men over 60, I've come to believe something that goes beyond science, beyond lab tests, beyond prescriptions. I believe that every morning gives you a choice, a fork in the road, literally and figuratively. You can reach for the habits that made you tired, numb, and disconnected. Or you can choose something better, not because someone told you to, but because you believe you still deserve to feel strong, capable, and alive. Whole eggs rebuild your muscles and fuel your hormones. Oatmeal and chia clear the way for blood to flow freely again. Watermelon wakes up those silent signals of manhood without a single pill. Sweet potato and Celtic salt rebalance your system when it's most ready to receive. And most importantly, your action breathes life into everything. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s come back to life, not because they found a miracle drug, but because they found the courage to show up for themselves every morning. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to decide that today you matter. Not for someone else, not to chase the past, but because there's still a future waiting for you. So let your next chapter begin tomorrow morning with one food, one step, one decision, and let that simple act remind you. Your body isn't broken. It's listening, and it's ready to begin again.